Hi guys, this is Covey and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Kuya Marco Jose's books, which is What If It's Love and then Tell Me Where It Hurts. Okay, it's been quite some time since nung huling nag-record ako ng actual na book talk. Since yung huling recording ko para dito sa channel was about my TBR, I didn't have much of a script. Well, I don't have much of a script now, pero may mga guide lang ako na pwede kong gamitin para mas ma-explain ko pa na maayos yung thoughts ko about sa book. I've mentioned in my TBR video and catch-up na I've started keeping or tracking my thoughts in a reading journal. So, I actually have 3 pages of thoughts just when I was reading, and while I was preparing things I wanted to talk about in this video, I added another 2.5 pages for this topic. Since we're talking about 2 books this time, I'm gonna start muna with What If It's Love and then we'll talk about Tell Me Where It Hurts. If you're new to my channel, I'd just like to inform you that this is a book talk. So basically, lahat ng pag-uusapan natin dito is spoiler-filled. So if you haven't read the book, switch off the video right now. Just, if you wanna pick up the book, the physical book, available naman siya through Pop Fiction. If not, there's always the version that's in Wattpad. I don't know how different they are because I only read the physical books, but I suggest na if you don't want to get spoiled in what happens in the book, just click off the video for now, and then after you read it, kung mapanood nyo na or kung nabasa nyo na, you can watch this video, and if you just want to be spoiled, feel free to go ahead. So let's talk about the first book, which is actually the second book in this series, pero wala pa kasi ang copy ng first, so I haven't read it. But this is What If It's Love, and if you're not familiar with my videos, I actually have a format that I follow where I talk about the things that I liked, the things that I dislike, and noteworthy moments. But this time around, 4 years later, I'm adding another section wherein I talk about things I would change in the book. Since sinabi ko nga to sa TBR video ko, but I wanted to learn from other authors about how I can make my writing better. Granted, I'm not actually writing right now, I'm just reviewing and reading books, but still I wanted to talk about that just so you could see how I critique the work, I guess. And ayun, let's start with What If It's Love. For some of the things I liked in this book, nasulat ko to because I make index cards when I read the book so I can note down that stuff outside from my journal. Kasi this is when I'm reading, tas yung journal yung post-read and summary of thoughts na. So in my index cards, I actually put na I really like the emotion that was present in the first few chapters of the book. Kasi parang simula-simula pa lang, prologue pa lang, ang sakit na sa puso. So the emotion was there throughout the whole book, and I think that was great. But later I'll continue to talk about it, and what was something great became something very irritable by the end of the book. So first one, I liked emotion. The second thing, which surprised me because I actually didn't like this when I first started reading the book, but it's Axel and Hina's dynamic as a couple. Because if you've read the book, Axel acts very childish when he's with Hina, and nung una ko talaga binasa, naiirita ako kay Axel lang kasi may mga ganito pa talagang tao na parang bata pero matanda na. But right now, rereading it again, I don't know, I guess I'm not as opposed to it as I was in the beginning because I think it's actually cute. And there were a few instances in the book where we saw na hindi naman ganun si Axel towards other people. It's really just with Hina that he's like that, and I actually really appreciate that about Axel's character. And surprisingly, yun lang yung mga nagasad ko dito sa libro. There's so many things that I wish worked well for the book pero hindi siya nangyari. So now I'm gonna talk about the things I disliked. So one of the first things that I really found jarring while reading the book is yung flashback sequences. In between reading What If It's Love, since physical book siya, actually hindi ko siya nadadala sa kwarto namin kasi usually madilim na and I have a room with my siblings, so hindi ko naman pwedeng buksan yung ilaw kasi natutulog na sila and medyo late kasi ako matulog. So sometimes I read books in between reading physical books, so I read on my phone, ebooks. And while I was reading What If It's Love, I was reading King of Greed by Anne Huang. And I can't just help but compare yung flashback sequences no kay Anna Huang or sa King of Greed is very well executed kasi usually yung flashbacks dun sa libro is triggered by a memory or an event na nangyari dun sa couple na nasa King of Greed. Pero dito kasi sa What If It's Love, it was frustrating because the flashbacks felt out of place. Parang biglaan na lang biglaan na lang siyang magpapop sa libro nang wala man lang connection dun sa nangyayari at the present time. I guess it was used to tell Axel and Hina's past or how they got into this arranged marriage. Pero the thing is, it wasn't executed really well. Yun talaga yung hihirapan ako dun sa pagbabasa ng flashbacks because parang biglaan na lang siya nagpa-pop up sa libro ng hindi naman siya ganun ka-importante sa current na nangyayari. Another issue I had in this book and as well as Tell Me Where It Hurts is the pacing. So parang first half ng book ng What If It's Love is revolved around telling you the story or the relationship between Hina and Axel. So it's mostly the two of them in the book and then sometimes makikita natin yung friends nila interacting with them. And then towards the halfway point, pinakilala si Talia, which is other love interest I guess ni Axel. And then 3/4 of the way into the book, inintroduce naman si Nicolo, which is another love interest for Hina. And I think those two characters, specifically Talia and Nicolo, were very good characters to foil the relationship ni Axel and Hina. Yun nga lang, naaano ako kasi nandun na sila sa dulo ng libro. And I couldn't understand why it took so long to introduce these two characters because I think they were very interesting, especially Nicolo. Kaya nasasayangan lang ako dun sa opportunity na mas ma-flesh out pa yung characters ni Axel and Hina through Talia and Nicolo, pero hindi masyado nangyari yun because medyo na-rush na siya by the end of the book. And for the most part, yun naman yung hindi ko talaga nagustuhan sa libro. The pacing and then the flashbacks. Now, we're moving on to the noteworthy moments I had in the book. So, when I talk about my noteworthy moments, it's usually just events in the book na gustong-gusto kong pag-usapan outside of the things I like and things I dislike. And it can be good or bad, just noteworthy para sa akin na gusto ko ma-mention dito sa video na to. Pinakauna, in connection to with the emotion and the things I like, is the angst is real. So you could really feel the tension between Axel and Hina when they were going through the rough phase of their relationship where nandun na si Talia tapos parang hindi alam ni Hina kung saan siya lurugar. So the angst during those scenes were very good. And then another thing I really like, well, not actually a thing, but a character in the book is Nicolo. Feel ko talaga na sayang yung character ni Nicolo kasi when Nicolo was first introduced, nagulat ako kasi nga parang 3/4 of the way na ng book. Parang konti na lang tas matatapos na bigla siya ni-introduce. Pero Nicolo, sinulat ko to sa index cards ko, pero Nicolo was such a breath of fresh air compared to Axel kasi Nicolo was very direct when it comes to talking to Hina about his feelings about her. So, gusto ko yung pagka-direct niya in comparison dun sa pagiging dodgy naman ni Axel, which was very frustrating for me as a reader kasi I want to root for the main couple, pero Nicolo just came in as the love triangle and then swept Hina away, kind of kasi in the end hindi naman silang katuluyan. So if anything, I kind of want Niccolo to have a book just to see how he interacts with other people. And then the last thing, the new section in my videos is things I would change. First, in tandem siguro to dun sa dislikes ko is yung structure. If I were to write this book, yun na lang, sabihin natin, I would divide the story into 3 acts. First, yung i-establish yung relationship ni Axel and Hina. Second, i-introduce si Talia. And then, third, i-introduce si Niccolo. So, it doesn't, like, each character has their time to shine in the book and then fulfill their purpose in telling the relationship or the love story between Axel and Hina. And I feel like mas magiging maayos yung story in my eyes if that were to happen. The next thing, this is true for both books, What If It's Love and Tell Me Where It Hurts, but I want to give the male lead a POV. So, sinabi ko to, or pinag-iisipan ko to, pero actually hindi ko nasulat kasi sometimes slips my mind. Pero since ngayong nagre-record ako, naalala ko siya. What If It's Love, the title is more suited if the story was told in Axel's POV. Kasi yung original title niya na Just If actually suits Hina. Because yung problem ni Hina sa book is that she's afraid of taking risks. Pero Hina as a character was very passive in this book. So yung tanong niya sa utak niya is, paano kung if nga lang ba talaga yung feelings ni Axel para sa kanya? Kasi there's this back and forth between the two characters where one of them parang jokes about, oh, let's just get into a relationship together, pero parang by the next few dialogues ibabawiin nila. So parang yun yung the back and forth na nangyayari between Hina and Axel. And then yung question na what if it's love is perfect for Axel kasi yung perspective naman ni Axel is hindi siya sure about sa feelings niya para kay Hina. And yung question na yun would be better answered if the book had Axel's POV. So it will be kind of like a dual POV situation where makikita natin yung thoughts ni Hina while nakikita natin yung thoughts ni Axel. Because to be honest, Hina was kind of a boring character to read. And I'll talk more about that later sa overall assessment or siguro sa review ko dito sa dalawang libro na to. Pero last thing on my what I would have changed is I would have started the story in a different time between their relationship. So parang kasi nung in-establish or nag-start ng story is establishing their relationship, I feel like I would have started the story like a few weeks, parang may timeline, you know, pero parang further into the relationship ni Axel tsaka ni Hina where there's already a relationship there, ipapakita na lang sa atin kung how their dynamic works, basically. So that's everything I have for What If It's Love. As for ratings, I think I gave it, let me check. I gave What If It's Love 3 stars out of 5. And then, kasi sa pag-check ko dito sa libro, nalagyan ko rin kung may spicy ba or laughable or funny, not laughable, funny and then cry-worthy moments. For spicy, wala ko nilagay. Funny, wala rin na masyado. Pero at this time, hindi ko pa kasi tinatrack yung cry-worthy moments. So, it's blank for now. And would I read it again? Maybe if I'm in the mood. Yun yung dinagay ko dito. Kasi it's a specific book na may specific emotion na gusto mo maramdaman kung babasahin mo to. Para sa akin, ganun yung perspective ko. If I would want to read it again, I should be in a certain mood. Lastly, I actually made a playlist around the book. So if you want to check it out, I'll link it in the description box below para you can accompany it while reading. Kasi previously, in my old videos, I used to recommend albums, whole albums para pakinggan nyo habang binabasa ng libro. Pero as time went by, nagustuhan ko lang gumawa ng mga playlist and stuff. And specifically tailor yung songs dun sa scenes na nangyayari sa libro or yung emotions na gustong i-convey ng libro. So if you want to check it out, I'll link it in my description box below. Now it's time to talk about Tell Me Where It Hurts. It's just arguably the better book in between these two. I just really like this better sa course ng pagbabasa ko kasi I read them back to back. So after reading What If It's Love, I read Tell Me Where It Hurts. And then kung dun sa What If It's Love medyo mabagal yung pagbabasa ko, I even took breaks in between reading the book. Dito naman sa Tell Me Where It Hurts, I feel like I just breezed through the book. And this is true also nung first time ko binasa yung libro na to because this is a reread. But I did notice a few things na hindi ko na-note nung initial read ko to how I perceive the book now. So let's start with things I like. I really like Ara's character. I feel like she's already a better protagonist than Hina nung nag-start yung book. I've mentioned earlier na Hina was a very passive character in What If It's Love, and that's very true because she's often waiting for things to happen to her bago siya mag-react. She's never actively doing things for herself dun sa What If It's Love. Pero si Ara, we can see here in the book that nung una medyo passive din siya because she's waiting for Ivan to do things, and then basically the other people around her as well to do things. Tapos usually mag-agree lang siya sa kung ano gusto nilang gawin. But dun sa turning point ng book where si Ivan pala ay promised sa ibang babae, I forgot her name. I think it was Francesca. I forgot. I'm too lazy to open the book. Pero when introduced to Ivan's fiance, makita natin yung change sa character ni Ara. And then, dun din at the time, nalaman natin na magkakaroon ng anak sila Ivan and Ara nang hindi nalalaman ni Ivan. And this is my favorite thing about the book, yung secret pregnancy na trope. And I really like those kind of books just because I like family, not necessarily family drama, but family relationships, family dynamics within the book, even if it's toddlers or children and their parents. It's very cute for me. And another thing that I really liked was the first section of the book where it was establishing Ara and Ivan's past. Because I really liked how I like forward characters na very straight to the point, and Ivan was one of those people na was very straightforward with what he wanted with Ara. And then dun na nga lang nung nalaman natin na may fiancé na nga pala siya or may girlfriend na pala siya, where he started to be very sketchy about it. But yeah, those are the things I really like about these two characters, their past and then just Ara in general. For the things I dislike, there's actually not much. I think the first thing was the chapter length. I feel like chapters could have been merged together into one big chapter. Kasi parang feel ko 2 pages would consist of one chapter and then we'll move on to the next chapter, when the next chapter is just a continuation of what's happening in the first chapter. So why wasn't it just combined together when it's just one big scene all together? And then the other thing is yung third act struggle nila, where yung si Samuel was introduced as the villain of the story. I feel like there was no proper payoff para i-explain yung danger dun sa lives ni Ara and Ivan during that time. Parang bigla na siya nangyari. Nung una kong binasa to, I didn't actually note that down because I guess I was just enjoying the book. Pero now that I'm a little bit more critical about it, I feel like there would have been ways where yung danger na yun is na-execute better dun sa story ni Ara tsaka ni Ivan. Because again, we're only seeing from Ara's eyes, and Samuel through her eyes was never really a danger. And then by the last few chapters of the book, bigla na lang nagkaroon ng action sequence, kumbaga naging thriller siya instead of a romance. So I feel like things could have been better balanced out in that aspect of the book. And another thing Samuel. I love and hate this character because, like Nicolo, like when Samuel was introduced, I really like Samuel's forwardness when it came to Ara. But then, at the end of the day, he's just a slimy character. Like, he wanted to hurt the kids. He wanted to hurt Adrian and then Alexander, which was, no, that's not good. So Samuel went from a character I really like to a character I really hate, and that's a strong emotion. But yeah, I don't like him, which I guess was the purpose of the character. And I think like learning to love him then learning to hate him is actually a good move for Kuya Marco, because I guess that's the purpose of the character in this book, from someone you love to someone you hate. So let's talk about noteworthy moments. I think my favorite thing is still the babies. Adrian and Alexander were so cute as twins and as siblings, and then interactions with Ara and Ivan and their Lola Manfred was just so cute. Especially one thing I marked down in my first read, kasi no first read ko, there were actually only a few tabs in the book. Pero now that I'm rereading it again, I added more. And looking at it now, there's still less tabs. Not much tabs on this book. Pero one thing I tabbed in my first read was Adrian's letter to his dad na sana magbati na sila ng mama nila and that stuff. So that scene was so cute for me, and nagigigil lang ako dun sa dalawang character na yan. And even though Alexander's quiet and very much like his dad, it was still cute to see their interactions together. Possibly my favorite moment outside from Adrian and Alexander was when Manfred slapped the hell out of Ivan, because Ivan really deserved it. Like, why would he take the kids? That's just trauma bound to happen, you know? Parang you're just introducing something that you don't want your children to experience, you know? So, yun lang naman yung noteworthy moments ko noon. And then, things I would change. Again, structure, like, what if it's love? I think I would lessen yung, not really lessen, pero I just introduce Samuel's story better into the book, I guess. Samuel's struggle with Ivan and not Hina, Ara. Pero how I would do that, I guess, is, again, give Ivan his POV. I feel like if we saw Ivan with his girlfriend, na hindi si Ara, Francesca, I think, I forgot the name. But if we saw him doing that, then it wouldn't be much of a, like, it wouldn't, how do I explain this? Pero yung danger na na-feel natin dahil dun sa una sa tatay ni Francesca and then pangalawa dun kay Samuel would be much better executed kung nakikita natin sa second half ng book yung POV ni Ivan. I don't know how they'll integrate Ivan's POV in the first part where he's just meeting Hina, pero I feel like if we had Ivan's POV in the second half of the book where yun na yung present time na after nung breakup, a few years after nung breakup nila ni Ara, feel ko mas sense natin yung danger coming from Samuel's character. Because there were hints na Samuel hates Ivan, but never to the point na naging delikado para sa buhay ni Ara tsaka ng mga anak niya. Yun lang talaga. And if those would have changed, I feel like it would have been a better book. Pero as for my ratings, I actually rated this, I think, a 3.5. Let me check. Yeah, I rated it 3.5 stars. Spicy, just 1. Kasi, like with What If It's Love, most of the scenes are just fade to black. And then, I-explain na lang na may nangyari sila the next chapter. And then, funny moments were mostly by Adrian and Alexander. So their interactions gave 2 out of 5 for the funny meter, and then there's a cry-worthy moments, I give it a 2 as well, because hindi naman ako na full on sob, pero I really felt the emotion of wanting to cry because of how things happened in the book. First with Ara, and second nung kinuha na ni Ivan yung mga anak niya from Ara. It's like, at that moment talaga parang inis na inis ako kay Ivan, and gusto kong umiyak para kay Ara kasi wala talaga siya magawa eh. Buti na lang nandun si Ma'am Freen to save the day. And yeah, I think those are just things I wrote down for Tell Me Where It Hurts. Not much because I really enjoyed the book at the end of the day. Better than What If It's Love. So, overall thoughts, I wrote down na give the boys their POV. I feel like it would really make the book better if we see from the point of view of the boys, the Montemayor boys. And then, another thing, kung nabasa niyo yung libro, para sa inyo, aren't the Montemayor twins kind of like red flags, especially with their anger management issues? Kasi ako, pag nagagalit ako, tahimik lang ako. It's like, I'm brooding, kind of angry. Pero sila kasi yung type nung anger na sumisira sila ng gamit. And good thing na never sila nag-lay ng hand either kay Hina or kay Ara. Pero property damage is just as scary, I think, if it were to happen. So, yeah, I think the Montemayor boys kind of have anger management issues. I'm not sure how true it is for the first and the fourth book, pero yeah, we'll see, because I do want to read the other books in this series. Lastly, this is the problem I had with both books. The problem with showing versus telling. For most of the books, the writing often told you what's happening in the scene instead of showing you. Either Hina or Ara would tell you how they feel instead of showing you how they feel. I don't know how else to explain it, pero you'll understand when you read the book na parang imbes na ma-feel nyo personally yung nafe-feel nila and ma-immerse ka dun sa book, it's like watching television na pinapanood mo sa screen basically kung ano yung nangyari sa libro, pero you're not that immersed because it's in a screen. Pero what I want for romance books is to make me feel those kilig moments, to make me feel those cry-worthy moments, to make me feel those mahagulhol na iyak moments. Pero it doesn't take you there because it only shows you that it's happening. Oh, not shows you, it's telling you that it's happening instead of showing you how it happened. So that's one struggle I had. These were my thoughts after the whole thing happened, is that the female characters from Marcos's books often felt so passive. Like, they often never did things for themselves. I think the best example nga nito si Hina. Hina as a character, by the end of the book, I realized that she's afraid of taking risks. Pero na-realize ko lang yun dahil sinabi yun ni Hina sa akin instead of showing me. So I wish throughout the book we saw moments where Hina was afraid to take risks. And then if we saw those moments, mas magiging believable by the end of the book na papakita na nga na, oh, at this moment, Hina's taking a risk. Big risk for her, and it's how her character develops throughout the story. Pero at the end of the day, when the book was finished, hindi natin nakita yun, and sinabi lang sa atin na nangyari yung bagay na yun. I really wish it was better written or executed, because I think the writing's fine. The execution of it all, yun yung medyo hindi ko wrap my head around it, I guess. That's Kuya Marcos's books. What If It's Love and Tell Me Where It Hurts. If I were to rank both of them, again, Tell Me Where It Hurts is higher than What If It's Love. And actually, I'm really kind of excited to read the other two books so far in this series na published na under Popfic, just because I want to see if the female characters are different from Hina and Ara's characters, and then how Kuya Marco Jose's writing has evolved, especially in the fourth book, kasi yung isang na wala pa ako is yung first book actually na series na to. Pero how his writing has evolved in the fourth book, because I think the fourth book is from the not Wattpad, the Instagram post I saw when the book was published. It was more risque, so I guess we'll see if that's really the case. And yeah, that's all I have for this video. I'm not sure if I mentioned that I also made a playlist for Tell Me Where It Hurts, but again, I made playlists. If you want to check them out, I'll put them in the description link below. And that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you also have thoughts about the book and kung gusto nyo akong awayin, tara, away tayo sa comments. Just kidding. Pero if you have other criticisms na hindi nag-agree sa take ko, you can tell them to me in the comments, and maybe you can help me get a better understanding of what the book is trying to portray. And that's all I have for you guys. So far, I've already finished Sailor Chronicles, the first book, so reading the second book tomorrow, or starting the second book tomorrow, and hopefully the next video will be up by next week. And that's all I have for you. Again, paulit-ulit na ako dito. And I guess bye. Thank you for listening. This is Covey. Thanks. Bye. Bye.